This week on the Steam Machine Podcast.
Tonight at 11.
Cue the music. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me this week is one half of the Destructo Bros.
It's Willie. I'm on a Doom episode. Deal with it.
And the other one welcoming back from the Cum-Eater Symposium.
Left him in Las Vegas.
We have...
Oh, what?
CES, the Cum-Eater Symposium. We have Mikola.
You fucking asshole. Dude.
It's a new thing.
It's a salty, sweet symphony this life.
I'm very salty at that comment. Oh, how long did it take you to dribble that one out?
Oh man, I came up with that the week you were gone.
Hey, it's Mikolov, by the way. Hi.
The week that you were gone, I was gonna say it, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna save that one till he's back.
What, you do some tantric bullshit? Was this like American Pie?
I mean,
you saved it for a few weeks.
Yes, I've been edging it for a while now.
Welcome to our gooning podcast.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Did we say this is Doom? No, it's Goon.
Well, today we'll be covering The Edge of Tomorrow.
You know, this is the second time you guys have sent me to hell, and I've liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how this game works.
But first, before we start talking about Doom, boys, how are you doing? Willie, how are you, my good sir? You have a very lovely mustache.
Why, thank you. Yeah, I've had some difficulty deciding where I wanted to actually trim it to. So it's got this weird thing where it's not exactly a horseshoe, but it's not trimmed in relation to the upper lip whatsoever. It just kind of corners down a little bit. Like it's thinking of doing the full Hogan or something, but then it's just not gonna.
And then if you wanted to, you could chop the part that's hanging down a little bit, and then you could easily be on the cast of Super Troopers. And I mean that in the best way possible, because they all had sweet mustaches.
No, I mean, I've considered that outline. I've considered doing kind of like the Freddie Mercury. I don't know where exactly I want to go with it.
I just love your commitment to the mustache look.
Just every time I get rid of it, I end up missing it. You know, like I can take or leave the beard, but the mustache, I've started to really like.
I'm the same way with this shitty little facial hair that I have. Like, I don't have much, but this little goatee that I have helps hide my double chin somewhat. And then this little mustache just looks weird without it. If I have a goatee and no mustache, it just looks odd. So
I trimmed today.
You got a nice like 11 o'clock shadow going on.
Well, that's just my goatee stubble, because I usually trim it down to stubble and let it grow in a little bit. Because then when it gets to be too hairy, there's more gray than black, and I'm just this sucks. I'm old, and I got to trim it down again.
You don't want to go in and like grow it out and then have to trim individual hair to be like, okay, let's see if we can garden it so it's mostly the dark ones sticking out.
Well, no, because what ends up happening is I end up like nervously picking at my chin, and then I give myself weird, stupid little bald spots, and I got to shave anyways.
That's no good.
Because I'm a nutty middle-aged man.
No, dude, I get that, because I'll get like, and I know you guys having facial hair will understand. You'll get like a little sore spot, almost feels like a little pimple or something, or like an ingrown hair. And then I will take tweezers and pluck every hair around that to try to find where the sore spot is at. And I can never actually find it. So then I end up having to shave because I have this big bald patch where I picked out like 5 or 6 hairs.
That's familiar, yeah.
Drives me crazy.
And then it takes, because you pulled it instead of shaving it, it takes forever to grow back in. So you just have to keep trimming until it evens out.
Yep. My biggest thing these days is having to take my buzzer and pop it on my upper lip to just trim off the ones that like to curl under, because that bugs the shit out of me, being able to feel my mustache
when
hair.
It gets to your lip. Yeah, or when like it just grows a little bit too much like at the tip and it just goes into your nose.
Yeah, that sucks too. Or when my nose hairs get long.
These are dude problems. Well, maybe some Italian women, but mostly dudes.
So, Willie, what else you been up to, bud? How are you doing? You doing all right?
Oh, I thought you just asked me how I was doing so you could brag about your facial hair, so you could be like, hey, check this out. It's the fat dude's version of a comb over.
No.
Oh, fuck.
No, believe me, there's no bragging about this. There's like 20 hairs here, so there's no bragging about it.
Hey, each of them's doing their job, man. They're like the Power Rangers. Each one's important.
So what have you been up to, bud?
Like many weeks lately, I've been kind of sick some and awake some, so it took me a while to get into the podcast game, but mostly been just doing low energy stuff. Been studying a lot more chess, finishing out the stuff I'm meant to do in January. So I finally finished a certain couple of books that I was working on, and just kind of trying to play slower games. So I pay more focus to everything going on, because I've noticed that I've started to play brainlessly when I play fast games, and that just means you're not learning anything, you know?
I can get that. When you're playing games at a breakneck speed, it's coming at you too fast for you to process.
Right, and so eventually after a few moves, like you try to slow it down and think about it, but after a while you find yourself just automatically clicking stuff, and then it's like, yeah, well, how am I supposed to get better if I don't actually engage my brain during the actual game?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to apply it?
That was a panel at the convention I went to.
What, like mindfulness?
No, stuff coming at you too fast to process.
Oh, right.
Oh, I see.
Ah, gross.
That was a thinker. That was a dry one.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, a little dry.
Yeah.
A little sticky.
A little sticky.
Little puff of dust shoots out.
And a moth comes out.
This is an 18 plus podcast, everyone. I'm sorry for my behavior and the behavior of my friends.
Yeah, we have almost 18 plus listeners.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I appreciate all y'all. There's more than 18. It's like 100 something per episode.
We're
doing pretty good.
Amount of people. So
there's like 2,000 people. There's like 10 million people. Our Patreon has the same gross national product as Panama.
I fucking wish. Wish.
We go on Panama to vacation every Saturday. We go on vacation every Saturday.
Every Saturday we crank up Van Halen and hop in the private jet. Panama. So
anything else? No, man. I think I've been pretty boring because I got like a stomach bug again, and kind of spent like 3 days in bed, just kind of sleeping and or watching YouTube. So.
Yeah, you had me worried because I busted out that vocal cover and sent it to the chat, and then you didn't say shit about it for like a day and a half, and I was like, "Is Willie all right?" It's like,
no, I died, dude. I got
my Silk Song These Nuts joke wasn't that bad, was it?
No, I appreciate it. I'm glad you did that. Did that cover of Radiohead's "The Trickster" that I asked for a long time ago, and we both keep forgetting about. And then one day we finally managed to hook up and get it to go. So good work on that. That was really awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Machine Head?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Got a Radiohead. Dead out of breath. Anyway,
that's all I got. Someone else talk now. I don't want to talk anymore.
All right, you want to go next, Mikolov? You want me to?
I'll go next. Right. I don't really want to drag out what I've been up to this last, month now.
It's been a while. You've been too busy for us.
Yeah,
it's been a
bit.
Hit the
highlights.
So yeah, no, I feel bad about missing the last couple episodes. One of them, I was actually at CES in Vegas, which was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my lifetime, and I'm totally going back next year. And all that's on my channel, so I don't want to go, too in depth into it. But there was a podcast on the Retro Handhelds channel, and so that's really where we kind of went in depth on our best experiences.
Oh yeah, you looked very yeehaw
I
dapper.
did.
That was a fun video podcast. We liked your shirt and how you had the other dude with the matching shirt.
Yeah, that was kind of an inside joke. He wore that shirt last year, and I didn't go to CES last year, and so
it's spreading.
It spread. Well, it showed up on the Discord that they were coming out of stock at JCPenney. They were being clearanced out, so I actually grabbed one of the last ones, and at the time it was a size lower than I was wearing, so I actually put in the effort to lose some weight so I could actually fit into it. That's
committing to the bit. Proud of you.
Yeah,
I currently have a shirt that is like a retro wave looking shirt, synth wave looking shirt that is, I'm going to have to put in some work to get it to fit. But I'm going to.
You're going to. You could do this. So, yeah, I don't know. If you want to go into the in-depth CES stuff, just youtube.com/@TeamRetrogue and @RetroHandhelds. You can kind of get all the deets from there. Really haven't been doing much in the way of gaming, unfortunately. It's just been way too freaking busy. I had just a couple of really big handhelds come out. The Odin 2 Portal, which everyone's going apeshit over that thing, so I've gotten 2 videos out on that just because it's man, they're getting views. People just really want to know about that device. And I ended up getting my hands on a review unit for a $900 Windows handheld called the MSI Claw 8. Unfortunately, I had to send that one back to MSI. It was not a keeper review unit, but that video is out, and I got that. That nearly killed me, which is why I really haven't played much Doom Eternal, just because it took so much energy to just get all the testing done and get that video out. But I played all of Doom Eternal on that handheld, and let me tell you, it was a pretty darn good experience. I actually did put some like video footage of me playing like on the video, just because I enjoyed playing on the MSI Claw that much.
It always warms my heart, bro, when I'm watching one of your videos and I see you playing whatever, even before you were on the show, and you'd be playing whatever game that we were playing on the handheld. I'm always just like, hey, yeah. I know why he's playing that.
I like to throw in those little Easter eggs, you know. And at the end of every episode, I'm like, go on the Steam Machine Discord and you'll find me there. Because, like, I want to get some exposure to Steam Machine. So, you know.
Even before then, you always had some good picks of games. Like, I remember seeing you play, like, Marzipan's Beef Reverser on one of those because it had just come out. And I'm like, man, that's a deep pull.
And it was Game Boy ROM. So I'm like, why don't I just throw it into a Game Boy emulator and get it to work? And it did. And it was glorious.
I'm sorry. What was the name of that game?
Marzipan's Beef Reverser. So Marzipan is a character from the Homestar Runner universe. She's like vegetarian and stuff. And in that game, your goal is to use her powers to transform steaks back into a live cow.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Out of context, I'm like, that sounds like a wrestling move from Chikara or something. Like
the beef reverser.
Like, yeah, no. Someone named Marzipan and they hit the beef reverser.
Literally, like, what you are. I think you're throwing, like, raw beef at skeletons. And they're trying to kill you, and they stop killing you when you undead them.
Okay, so you have to undead the undead.
Yeah, so it's basically food necromancy.
Pretty much. Like, it's a surprisingly fun game. Like, part platformer, part, like, shmup. It's actually interesting.
That's the true purpose of gastrology or gastronomy. Just create a new animal from a piece of meat and some bones. Like, that would be cool. Like animancy.
So, Willie, the funny part about that game is that I actually have one of those old Game Boy Color flash carts. Mm-hmm. And so I can actually put that game on there and play it on original hardware. That's
awesome. Yeah. I've known a lot of people lately. I think there's a program called GB Studio or something that's made it a little bit easier for people to compile to a Game Boy without knowing like machine code and stuff for it.
Yeah.
So like I've seen some like Game Boy Color development happening recently among like hobbyists. I think that's really neat.
There's actually a Game Boy Advance game that just came out recently called Good Boy Galaxy. You could buy it on Steam. But when you buy it on Steam, in the downloads folder is a .gba, and you could load that onto an emulator and play it on one of the POW kitties that you got.
That's awesome.
That would be rad. Yeah, I love when I see people making new stuff for the older systems. It's like when Pier Solar came out, and it was like, oh yeah, by the way, we also made this for Genesis. It's like, wow, awesome. That's cool.
Demons of Astaborg is another one that you could buy it on Steam, but when you buy it on Steam, there's a .md, and you could load it up on a Genesis emulator.
That's so cool.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm just going to shout another one, finish yours first, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, the fun part about that is, like, actually, like, getting them onto carts and playing them on original hardware, because it's like, you're legit playing a game for a system that was out, 25 years ago? And you can actually get a physical copy of it, and you could put it in original hardware, and you could play it.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Like right now, Mike Bedsole, who I mainly know as like, he used to do animations for the Game Grumps channel, and he does some art for Brawlhalla. Like he's one of the main character designers, I think. Has a Game Boy Color game that he's just put together a Kickstarter for called Caro Caro Cowboy, about a little frog cowboy side-scrolling shooter game. It looks really cute and fun.
That sounds awesome.
What does...
It looks really cute and fun. I think he had like a demo for the regular Game Boy out already, and it looks like it's really awesome. Like that's like one of the main things I still like reading on Twitter is just like dev updates on that.
What does Caro Caro mean? Because I know there's a band, Caro Caro Bonito, which does the Bug Snacks theme.
I'm gonna guess it's a frog sound. Would be my best guess.
Fair enough. But yeah, that's the name of that band that does that kind of bug and kind of snack. Gotta catch them in your trap. Such a good song, dude.
I always think of those as the Flamingo Band, but yeah, same band.
Anything else you've been up to, Mick?
So, one more thing, and then I won't drag this out, but today we had a snow day, so I actually spent it setting up a mini PC for my son in his bedroom.
Nice.
And by dinner time, I actually created a Steam account for him, added him to my family on Steam, so he now has access to my entire library. And so I downloaded Sonic Mania, Power Rangers, Turtles Cowabunga Collection, and Shredder's Revenge, and UFO 50, and those are the only games I'm going to allow him to play.
Okay. Is the Bluey game on Steam?
Bluey is on Xbox, and I have Xbox Game Pass, so
Gotcha.
I could get on and download that for him at some point. But that's a game that we tend to play on the Xbox itself because he's only 4, so he's still not really good at games yet.
No, yeah. I just wasn't. I wasn't sure if it was on PC or if it was a console exclusive game. That's all.
No, it's on everything. But what we'll do is he'll be player 2, and I end up doing most of the heavy lifting, and he just gets to like screw around, and he actually enjoys that.
The old little brother Tails mode in Sonic 2.
It's just pretty much what it is, and as he gets a little bit older, I'm sure he and I will have some better experiences, and I think he's a little too young to have a mini PC, but I still wanted him to have something in his room to be able to play games on every now and again under my supervision. So I got that set up for him, and he was just happy as a clam just to play for 5 minutes and say, okay, I'm done.
When he turns 8 or 9, you should walk up to him and hand him a copy of Final Fantasy VIII and go, here you go, bud. It can't go the exact same way as me. As your brother gave me this game and I couldn't figure it out, so here, you can play it. And and then when he comes to you and he's like, hey man, what is this junction thing? You just say, I don't know. Here, your brother also gave me this walkthrough. Maybe you'll need this.
I think
it's magic.
I might still have Final Fantasy VIII among my strategy guides.
Dude, if you...
I'll have to see.
So jealous.
Oh, no. I don't, because I remember looking for it specifically so I could send it to you and not being able to find it. And then I went to Game Exchange, which is a local retro game store, and I pawed through their strategy guides to see if I could find it.
Dude, I the only place I found it's on like Amazon and eBay, and it's expensive. I swear I used to have it. It's somewhere here. I just don't know where.
So what had happened is I did lose some stuff over my parents' house like years ago because we had gotten some water damage, so there was some stuff I had to throw away. That must have been among it because there were a bunch of like strategy guides that I was able to save.
Well, that's a bummer.
I do remember 8 having a really pretty strategy guide, the official one. Like, it was just really
the
well
Brady
put
Games
together.
one was nice.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I was
as
able
opposed to the Final Fantasy 9 one, which is like famously like the most useless strategy guide ever put to paper.
Thankfully, I was able to save my Chrono Trigger strategy guide, which was actually made by Nintendo Power and published by Nintendo Power.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like a supplement to the magazine, and they like printed like an entire full book out.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I saved that because there's like artwork and shit in there besides the maps and everything, and it's just a beautiful guide.
I still have my...
Nintendo Power put together some hella good walkthroughs back in the day.
They did, before the internet.
In fact, it's sitting on my living room coffee table at the moment because my dad was playing Tomb Raider 2 the other day. I still have my Tomb Raider 2 walkthrough that if you flip to the very back page, there's pencil and written down are all the cheat codes for it. So like I walked out there the other day and my dad's just sitting there trying to put in cheats, and I was like, already cheating.
Busted.
But
that's just how we did.
When I was working doing property preservation, I ended up with 2 strategy guides that I have now for whatever reason, and one is Metal Gear Rising.
Nice. Probably Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, is that the full name? Yeah. So I have that, and I have Halo ODST.
Interesting.
I don't really know why you need a walkthrough for a Halo game. They're pretty linear, but I guess there might be secrets and stuff to find.
I think ODST, I thought that was like the... Oh no, Halo Reach was the strategy one. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know I have Halo Wars 1 and 2, and those are RTS games. They're a blast.
That's what I was thinking of. It's the RTS one.
Those are a blast.
No, Halo Reach is like a prequel.
Yeah, I think ODST is as well.
Yeah.
I think the series starts with Reach, and then it goes to 1, 2, ODST 3, 4, and then whatever.
Reach is the one I think that the game ends with Objective Survive, and that ended up becoming like a meme.
I don't know. I've never seen the end of it. Spoilers? No, I'm just kidding. It's old as shit.
No, I've never played any of the Halo games, so.
Well, I've been playing a few different things lately. I've been dipping my toe into Pillars of Eternity.
Video games? What are those?
Just trying to get a feel for the world because Avowed is coming out soon. The new BioWare RPG.
That's right. And that looks really good.
No, I'm sorry, not BioWare. Excuse me, Obsidian. The Obsidian RPG.
It still looks really good.
Oh yeah, it does, and it's it's in the world of Pillars of Eternity.
Oh,
So
I was missing the connection there, trying to figure out where these things were connected.
Yeah, so it's a first-person action RPG, but it's in the world of the Pillars of Eternity games, which Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2 play like a Baldur's Gate-esque style game.
Okay.
So, me, I love CRPGs, so I've really been enjoying my time with it. I need to get further into it. I will say the beginning is slightly a slog, but once you figure out what you're doing, it gets a lot better. No Man's Sky had a massive update.
Oh,
as it does.
It does.
And I mean, I was sitting on the toilet and I saw Jeff had posted that there was a new thing. So I went to Steam on my phone and I pulled up the patch notes. And I swear to you, I scrolled like 30 times before I finally got to the bottom of it. There was so much. So, quick rundown. They added a whole new star system type that you can find that's purple in the galaxy planets. Some of these can have supermassive planets, I think it's called, where they're just like
gas giants.
They also added gas giants, but then there are actual planets that are just massive compared to normal planets. You can now find planets that are 100% all water, and they have updated everything underwater. So now it's like super cool to go and explore underwater. Like earlier, I saw a mechanical like crab looking thing, hermit crab looking thing. I've seen seahorse, but you can get to the point where there are now places where you can swim down so deep that you can only see what little light you put out. And every little movement, bro, it's like it becomes Subnautica all of a sudden. And you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, Dave the Diver, No Man's Sky edition.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Like I'll probably end up playing some more tonight when we got off here. I subbed a month for Final Fantasy 14 strictly because I missed my free company.
Oh yeah, I miss those guys too. So I haven't been on at all.
I've been popping in now and then and saying hello and checking my retainers, and I went and did a dungeon or two, but that was about it. I've been playing Syllables Ultimate, which is like a Pokemon-esque style game, but it's also a roguelike, and you can fuse monsters together to create new monsters. Basically, the way the fusion works is the first monster you pick is what the look of the monster is going to be, and the base of it. The second monster you pick changes the color scheme, and it gives you four
kind of like the Monster Hunter 2 type of, or Monster Rancher 2 type of.
In a way, yeah.
Subtyping.
And you have the choices of 4 different colors, and you can change them whenever. That game is super fun. I really enjoy the roguelike aspect of it. Let me quick scan. Oh, the big main thing lately. So I have figured out that it's not my computer that is having an issue with Cyberpunk, because I have done everything I can to try to fix Cyberpunk crashing anytime I turn on ray tracing. I don't know what it is. So I did some deep Googling, and I mean, I was pages in, and I found this one article these people talking in a message board where they all had 4090s and they were all experiencing crashing in Cyberpunk due to ray tracing.
Sounds like a driver issue.
So it's a issue with the 2.1 or something update. They changed something in the game that had to do with path tracing, and it just doesn't like it, because people were like saying that you can either uninstall Phantom Liberty, which is the new expansion, and go back to the patch that was before that and it'll work fine, or there's a mod that supposedly helps with it or whatever that backports path tracing to 2.0 instead of 2.1, yada yada yada, a lot of technical shit. But I'm just like, man,
boy oh boy, does Phantom Liberty sound like a Metal Gear subtitle,
bruh, doesn't it? that's because Metal Gear has Sons of Liberty and the Phantom Pain.
Oh yeah, I guess it is just that.
Well hell. Yeah, dude, so that's been interesting. Black Myth Wukong still crashes whenever you try to load in with ray tracing. Don't know why.
Sounds like ray tracing just better off being left off.
Yeah. Weird enough, though, I load up Control, turn on full ray tracing, and everything runs like butter smooth, and it is fucking beautiful. Doom Eternal.
I feel like Control's one of those games like Portal, though, that it kind of benefits from the fact that it's all very, it's very easy to render for what it is because of what it's made
It's very
of.
well optimized, too. Doom Eternal, same thing. We'll talk about that. I played that entire game with ray tracing on.
Oh yeah, I can't get over how well that game runs in general. Like, just I was actually surprised when you were talking about how well it worked on the handheld, for instance. But I'm sure we'll get around to that as well.
It's also a beefy handheld.
The last thing I wanted to say is I started up a game of Civ 6 and got 2.5 hours into it, and my game crashed.
What is going on, man?
So yeah, that was fun. No, I alt tabbed out, and I guess I did it one too many times. It didn't like it, and it just closed the game.
Man, if you don't have a sense of fear when you're alt tabbing, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, dude. Anytime, I don't care what game it is. Anytime I alt tab, I'm like, God, please. When I click it to go back into, I'm like, please work, please work. And
he can be an emulator running an Atari game, and you're like, you better not.
But old DOS games, fuck that. You might as well play it in windowed mode. That way you can click other shit, because if you try to alt tab in those games, it's just going to go, we don't know what this is. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's been an odd experience going from a multi-monitor setup to one ultra-wide monitor, because now, like, when I full screen games, I don't have that option of, like, having another monitor to look up walkthroughs and stuff. I have to, like, use a phone or something else.
Can you not hook one of your old monitors up and then, like, maybe mount it above where your screen sits?
I could, but I'm a little too addicted to the cleanliness.
That's fair. My desk is not cleanly. Looking at it right now, you would be like, Dalton, what the fuck?
Oh,
but it's functional.
I mean, it's a mess of, like, handhelds. I'm looking at, like, freaking 3 of them right now, and a mini PC I'm trying to, like, set up. But, you know, first world problems, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, I've been dabbling in a bunch of games in my library, just trying to find something that'll stick. And I've just really been fucking enjoying No Man's Sky. So
I gotta get back into that.
It's so good. And they just keep making it better. That's the thing. It's like, we're going to end up having to do another episode on it, because it's basically a new game now.
Right.
It's like a lot of content has come out even since we played it. And that's our...
I've actually been kind of hoping that eventually that gets picked as just let's catch up on it. Because, I mean, we've done that with Phasmophobia before, so it's not like there's no precedent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would totally be cool with it, dude.
I'd be down.
It's like, we could even work that in as a short game sometime, because... we wouldn't have to put a whole month or whatever into it. We could just do that and pop in and dabble, see what all's new, that kind of thing. So,
see, I would worry about playing that as a short game, because then I wouldn't play the game that we're...
That's fair too.
Playing the short game to play. I'd get too into No Man's Sky.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm already worried that I'm going to be revisiting this week's game a little bit too much in the coming weeks.
Speaking of this week's game, gentlemen, we played Doom Eternal, and I have some obligatory Wikipedia bullshit for you.
For me?
Couldn't be. Then who? Mickey stole the cookies from the cookie jar. Doom Eternal is a 2020 first-person shooter game developed by id Software and published by Bethesda Softworks, the sequel to Doom 2016, and the 7th game in the Doom series.
7th, huh?
I'm trying to think. Really? I thought Doom 2016 was Doom 4. Unless they're counting like Doom 64.
I think they're counting Doom 64 and Final Doom, yeah.
That makes more sense. It was released for the PlayStation 4, Stadia, remember that? Windows and Xbox One on March 20th, 2020, with a port for the Nintendo Switch released on December 8th, 2020.
I don't know why.
I wonder how that runs. I bet it runs decently.
I heard it runs like total ass.
Well, versions for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S were released June 29th, 2021. Set sometime after the events of the 2016 game, the story follows the Doomslayer once again on a mission to end Hell's consumption of Earth and foil the alien con makers' plans to exterminate humanity. Along with a single-player campaign, a multiplayer mode, Battle Mode, was introduced, and in this mode, players can either play as a Doomslayer or as a demon and fight until either the Doomslayer defeats the demons or vice versa. A Horde mode was added in October of 2021. The Ancient Gods, a 2-part standalone campaign DLC after the events of the main game, was released between October 20th and March of 2021.
So this would be a good time to point out that we will only be reviewing the single-player base campaign. We did not get around to multiplayer or the DLC.
Yeah. So we played this like, we'd have gotten in on Christmas and we had no friends. So we just loaded it in and played. But I didn't even realize that. I guess I saw that it had multiplayer options, but I didn't even think to like see what it is.
Did you not wonder why you were picking up skins for monsters?
No, I knew that. Like, I went in and I even like edited all of them and made them all look cool. But I didn't think about what mode it would be for them to be used in. I figured it was just something that was.
You were just playing dress up with the Revenant.
Yeah, dude, I love dress up games. Dude, I like that Nikki game. It's literally a dress up game. That is what it is. But yeah, man. So first impressions, gentlemen. Willie, I'm going to go with you because you chose this game. What made you choose this game, and what was your first impression of it?
I chose this game because it's been sitting in my library for like a year, and if I don't play it, I'm going to explode. Plus, more importantly, Doom the Dark Ages, the 6th game in the mainline series, is coming out in a couple of months. I believe it's set for mid-May of release. So I definitely wanted the chance to play that when it was new, and figured if I don't get around to Doom Eternal now, I will go insane having 2 Doom games in my backlog.
That's fair. You still need to play OG Doom 3.
Yeah, we only played the BFG edition, so it might be worth going to the original and getting the more up spooky vibes as opposed to the compromise with some action stuff added that didn't work.
Yeah.
But But yeah, so my first impressions with this game is, I booted it up, joined the game, picked my difficulty setting and all that. I don't know if you guys had the same experience as I did, but Doom 2016 kind of, it bleeds the monsters to you pretty slow. Like for the first half of, I think almost the entire first stage, the only monsters you're fighting are possessed people and imps, and that's it. Whereas by the end of level 1 Hell on Earth of this game, you fought against imps and possessed, obviously, but also cacodemons and arachnotrons and a new type of soldier zombie. There's a lot going on there.
It almost felt like they expected you to have played Doom 2016 coming into this. You already had a feel for how to take care of what you needed to, because they threw enemies at you quick in this one.
Yeah, I feel like that is exactly it. I feel like this game feels like it starts off as a remix of what was going on in 2016. It does expect to build off of some experience with the game, or at least expects you to be able to do the stuff that the first game did. It doesn't give you very long of a tutorial.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it definitely,
does
a learning curve, at least from my perspective.
I mean, the weird thing is, despite the fact that it had a sharp learning curve, I also think that it explained the elements of combat better than 2016. 2016 just kind of gave you a shotgun and told you, go get him, dude. This one seemed like it kind of embraced kind of the video gaminess of it a lot.
Yeah, oh, my mind just blanked. When you would get a new weapon and it would port you to that little room and just summon the 3 enemies for you to just destroy with it to try it out. Doom 2016 didn't do anything like that I can remember.
Right.
So what about you, Mikolov? What was your first impression loading it up?
Trying to get past that ridiculous Bethesda.net login screen.
Oh, that's right. You did have struggle with that.
That was annoying. Mostly because, God, that was hard. That was hard mode in itself. So I had to find my Bethesda account. I had to sign in. I originally played this on Xbox. So I finally got all that linked. I finally got in, and then I had to put the game down. So it literally took me that long, to the point where I couldn't actually go in and play the game proper. The next day, I go to play this again, but instead I downloaded it onto that handheld I was mentioning. Well, come to find out a couple of things. One, it didn't carry over my login and my linking to my Bethesda account. And when I tried to log in again, it said this account is already linked. And I'm like, no, it's not, because you're giving me the login again. So I had to make a completely new account, link it to that, and then it said, we've encountered an unknown error. Please try again later.
Good times. Love those third-party logins. Just let me do everything from Steam, damn you.
And well, that's the thing. I didn't want to buy it on Steam because I didn't want to take the hit and back off golf, because I'm not beating any games or even playing them right now. So,
all right, you're playing off of the Game Pass.
So I used Game Pass. So I was stuck. I had to use the Xbox app. And then I ran into trouble because I was trying to use the Game Pass cloud. Do not play this game on the cloud, or you will hate it.
It's just too Twitch actiony to make sense to play with that kind of additional lag.
There was too much input lag for a game like this. So I finally didn't have a good experience with the game until I was actually able to have it fully downloaded, linked, signed in, and I could play it on the device itself as opposed to playing it in the cloud.
So, I mean, at least it sounds like the issues were more the way you were trying to play the game rather than an issue with the game itself.
Because then once I finally got all that resolved, it was, my experience was completely different. I was almost ready to write off the game and be like, this sucks, I'm not going to like it. And then we'll talk a little bit more later, but I finally, once I got it going, then I started to feel a little bit more of a sense of satisfaction.
I can get that.
Because the input lag was just enough to the point where
Right, you thought I could overcome it?
No, it was just enough to the point where you'd go to throw a grenade in a cacodemon's mouth and it would just miss it. And that's the point where I started getting frustrated, because I'm I know I timed that right. Why is he not staggered? And then I did it offline, or I did it when the game was actually saved to a device, and I'd nail it every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Input lag in games like these can literally make or break it.
Right. So if
it's like online fighting games. Same thing.
So if Game Pass Cloud is the only way you could play this game, then probably don't play this game.
I super don't trust cloud gaming. I'm sorry if that makes me sound like a grandpa, but it just seems like something that only would work for games that specifically require no reflex type stuff whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's why I'm happy that they released Ghost of Tsushima on PC because I had, my dad had gotten PlayStation Plus or whatever. I had bought it for him for his birthday or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. But I got the version where I could use the PC PlayStation cloud stuff. And I tried playing Ghost of Tsushima, and there was just a slight input lag. All right. So we're going to keep it going. Pause. You're going to keep that. I need you to go uninstall something. Yeah, it's all good. I'll figure out where to splice it in. Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to go take a piss. Oh, man, I feel so much better. I've been holding that for like 10, 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, Audacity's weird. And whenever you're opening it and you're recording it, it like takes up a good amount of space on your hard drive that it gives back once you're done. Like, I don't understand why. So, yeah, I was going to say, hit record, and then I'll say, like, welcome back. You can say, welcome back, and then I can use that to kind of know where I'm at in recording. Okay. Welcome back. All right. So, where were we? We were talking about cloud gaming and how it's not trustworthy. And Mikolov, you were starting to talk about cloud gaming, I believe. We had a technical hiccup, everybody, but we got it under control.
Sorry, zoned out for a second. Is it my turn?
No, it's okay. I thought you I thought you couldn't hear me, and I was like, oh no, more technical problems.
No, I legit got pinged on Discord, and it like threw me off. I really should have streamer mode turned on when we record. So no, I'm done with first impressions. We want to give your thoughts.
Mine.
Yeah.
All right. So welcome back.
Welcome back.
All right. So my first impressions of Doom Eternal. I'm not gonna lie. It's a good game. My first impression when I loaded it up was, oh my god, this game runs so smooth, because I've been just dealing with games that have issues, and I knew this was id Software, but I also knew that Bethesda had a hand in it, right? But then realizing it's Bethesda Softworks, not Bethesda Game Studios, I'm like, okay, never mind. It's just published by Bethesda. So I get in, I go into the graphics, I maxed out everything. That's what I do every game now. I go in, I max out everything, turn ray tracing on. Let me see if I can handle it. Load it in. I would be surprised if I wasn't getting more than 60 frames a second. Full ray tracing, everything. I know this game's a few years old, but dude, it ran so good. And the music kicked in. It was pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and say this now. Music in Doom 2016 was better, but this game still had a pretty killer fucking soundtrack. So I was jamming to that, just killing some demons. And I think, Will, you have already touched on this, that they tutorialized it a little better. When they would introduce new things to you, it was a lot smoother than just kind of dropping you in and tossing you to the demons, I guess I should say. So,
well, there are demon wolves.
That's true. This is true.
I mean, spectral wolves anyway.
So what jumped out to you most playing through this? Because I know you were the Doom expert here, so I know you were going to know the most. I'm going to
actually disagree with you on the music on this one, because I actually really liked how a lot of the themes of it were remixes of like ambient parts from the classic Doom soundtracks. Like there were a lot of interesting parts that were based on songs like Suspense and Sign of Evil that I thought it was really cool. It added this feeling of continuity to the series.
I just know there were a couple parts in the game where it's like the song felt like it was building up and then never got anywhere. Yeah,
I mean, that's usually the parts where it was quoting a song from Doom 1 or Doom 2 and then not going into the main part, like when you were between fights and stuff.
Gotcha.
It's like kind of using that as like an ambient version of the song.
See,
like, I'm definitely going to miss Mick Gordon in Doom 6.
See, for me, I didn't really pay too much attention to the music outside of hearing the original Doom thing play right at the beginning. I was more enthralled by the sound effects. Like simple things like the sound of the chainsaw, or, the chainsaw hitting flesh, which was, pretty grossly accurate sounding. But also like climbing up walls and the sound that made, and
yeah, very mechanical feeling.
Yeah, like the sound effects in this game were actually very well done.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. We were touching on before we went on air about on air, like we're live on a radio. Hi, welcome to the Steam Machine channel. One day
you're our 6th caller. You win a middle finger. Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Anchorman reference.
Nice.
But that Willie, you can correct me on the machine gun that it had a name. The heavy machine gun.
I think it was called the it was like heavy cannon,
like a heavy battle cannon. Yeah, something like that. That game. It sounds like the gunshots that I hear from Camp Blanding when they have their 50 cals out. Just do 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 do. That's what it sounded like, and it sounded so good that I would turn my bass up on these speakers that I got these speakers are fucking crisp. This is out of everything that I got, the new computer, the screens, all of that. These fucking speakers rule. Like for the bass that they put out, I've never turned them 3/4 of the way up because it would hurt my fucking ears how loud they are. So, but like, so just cranking up the bass and just letting hear those guns just do and just feeling it in my chest, shotgun blasts, like, oh my god, this was such a good game to play. Like, I know, like having good headphones, I bet would have been good too. Playing it in your headphones, just oh god, how could you ignore? I loved it in
headphones because the audio was so good at being like directional and stuff that like. It was a really good cue as to whether stuff was going on and about where it was. Like, I knew if there was a monster, like, behind a wall doing something compared to if it was just, like, in the room.
Yeah, just tremendous. But, Mikolov, how are you going to play a Doom game and not really pay attention to the music?
I was trying to survive. I was also trying to rip and tear.
Good call.
That's fair.
Important notes. Gotta rip, gotta tear.
Till it's done.
So, it's done. Again, Willie, you being the Doom expert, I'll go to you this on the first question, or I'll go with you first on this question. My goodness, I can't talk. Did you have any levels that stood out to you in particular?
Actually, I would say it's less levels standing out to me and more, I think what's interesting is they didn't advertise this game as such. It was more advertised as like an exploration of like the Doomslayer mythos and all of that. But I thought the interesting thing about where this game really succeeded, and it succeeded in a way that other games we played for the show didn't, is on the Earth levels, especially, I think it might have been UAC. There's one of them that takes place in like a shopping mall type situation in Central Europe. And I thought that did a better job of portraying like a near future apocalyptic real Earth scenario than the original Doom 2, despite it being supposedly Doom 2 Hell on Earth, or like Duke Nukem Forever when we played it for the show, taking place in real world situations, despite the fact that Duke Nukem takes place in real cities, and this game just takes place in, quote, Central Europe when you get to that stage, you know?
Yeah, but it
still felt like a real sense of space and a real sense of corruption and recent calamity.
And what it would be like if hell came to Earth.
Yeah, and it's so funny that it felt like a more realistic depiction of a hell alien invasion than Duke Nukem did with just regular aliens.
So I thought about you, and it was weird. It's almost like my YouTube algorithm knew this, right? So there was the moment when you're in the city and you're jumping through the buildings and stuff, and you're watching the icon of Sin walk by and just destroy buildings as he's walking by. The sheer size of that thing was like
very big, like Cloverfield type kaiju vibes.
Yeah.
Like it just casually destroying stuff as it passed by.
So I finished my playthrough. I beat it. I go on YouTube, and one of the first videos that comes up is like the fear of things that are huge or whatever the fuck. And I watched a video on that, and I thought about you with Free Space, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I remember you guys having that conversation about that ship. And I started thinking about like, yeah, imagine being in a situation where hell has taken over Earth. And not only are you having to avoid normal demons, but you look up, and as far as you can see up is a giant fucking demon stalking around, smashing down buildings and shit. It's just like, that's horror. That's horror.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Truly.
I felt a sense of horror just from the first level, the Hell on Earth level, because I actually took a second in between like the tense moments, especially when I was outside, just to look around and see exactly what was going on, and just to see like dilapidated skyscraper buildings with like these like fiery glyphs on them, and you know, just to look around and just see nothing but rubble, and you know, every now and again like you'd get some remnants of like UAC like announcements and stuff like that. Yeah, I would agree. Like, there's definitely a sense of shit went down and it's not good. Even like when you're on the Doom ship and you're just like looking at the map and it shows you like a map of the Earth, and all the red dots are the demon possessed areas, and it's most of the map.
It's basically everywhere with the population.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder like how much of humanity actually is left.
Yeah, I got the impression it was a pretty bad, like, near extinction level event. Like, maybe 20% of people are left at most.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also have to wonder, like, are half of the demons that you fight, were they humans at one point? I don't know if that actually plays out that way.
This is covered in the plot of the game.
God damn it, I wish I played more.
Might I recommend that you go find a nice YouTube video that gives you a summary of things that happen, because it's interesting to know But if you don't feel like playing through the rest of the game,
I enjoyed it enough that I kind of want to play through the rest of the game. Like,
I mean, I would say I'd never play a Doom game for the lore itself, but I do think that they had some. I mean, they took what could have just been like the main vibe I got from the game, at least at first, was we're just making stuff that'll either make you say holy shit or hell yes. And then
both.
by the end, it does kind of actually tie itself together into a bit of a sensible story.
Yeah, no, I'm interested enough in the story that I do kind of want to finish this one. Just the levels are so long. So, like, for me, it's just a matter of, like, finding the time and the energy to want to put into that type of game. And then...
Would you feel better if I told you that if you exit to desktop in the middle of a level, it'll restart? If you rejoin it by hitting campaign instead of level select, you will start at the checkpoint you were at last.
Okay, yeah.
So you can play it in
Okay,
bursts.
that is good. Just because, like, second level, like, took me a full, like, hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And at that point, I was just like, man, these levels are long. So...
I would say that the average level is around a little over an hour long for your first run through.
Yeah, so... Like, it's just a matter of, like, and that's usually, like, the spurt of game time that I'll have is between 1 of 2 hours these days, like a day, if I even get that. But when I do sit down to game, like, I can at least get that far. So, like, if I pace myself like a level or a half a level, I could probably get through the whole game, you know, not want to stoop to being a YouTube watcher instead of a gamer.
I'll go ahead and say this just up front so you have a good idea about time budgeting. There are 13 total levels in the game. I didn't do anything in the game other than play the game, save and quit, open the game back up, play the game, save and quit. So I did very much almost no messing around other than reading the codexes and stuff. And my end of game playtime was 17.8 hours total.
Okay, so that's manageable.
Yeah, I think
so. Expect just a little over an hour per level, maybe a little longer for you since you're not as maybe fluent with the series and the genre. But I can't imagine it being much faster, compared to the first time anyone plays it.
Once I got the combat sorted out, I actually didn't find myself really dying as much. It was the platforming that got to me.
Well, and that doesn't change with the difficulty settings either.
Right,
so.
exactly. And I kind of got Half-Life vibes, where I wasn't dying to stuff in Half-Life after a while, but I was dying to the platforming, and it was driving me absolutely out of my mind.
Yeah, fair enough. I feel like the platforming in this game is more built for platforming in the platforming sections, whereas Half-Life is a first-person shooter engine that also has platforming capabilities.
Yeah, and that's really when, like, my hands would start cramping. Like, and I'm specifically talking about the second level, because it's about as far as I got. Is like, once you get that dash, there's just a couple of places where you just have to be really precision. You have to be jump, jump, dash, swing on the thing, jump, jump, dash, grab the dash thing that's hovering in the air, dash, dash, swing, jump, and it just, like, if you don't hit the right button at the right time, which is something that me as an old man, it happens. Sometimes you just hit the wrong button, you're fucked and you gotta start over.
See,
I will say one thing I've found about those platforming like sections, the really scripted ones like that, is generally speaking, they're not that difficult. Like, it's pretty much just jump, dash, jump. Like, basically you jump, then you dash until you run out of dash time, then you hit jump again, and you're usually good. If you just relax through it and remember that falling only does like 20 damage at most, like, it's actually not very difficult. You get in your own head and make it harder than it is.
And I think it was easier doing it with mouse and keyboard because you could precision look much easier with a mouse.
I always feel weird to know that people played like Portal on an Xbox, because like to me having that mouse control really helped with the hardest puzzles.
I'm curious as to how the game will run on Steam Deck, and unfortunately I would have to get the Steam version to figure that out.
I am almost certain that I've heard that this game is like a Marvel Steam.
Well, only because you have the trackpads. And so you can basically do a lot more precision aiming with the trackpads than you can with the joystick. So I've heard that a lot of people won't use the right joystick when playing Doom Eternal on the Steam Deck. They'll use the trackpads to aim. And they'll still use the joystick to move, the left joystick to move. But like trackpad aiming is basically like where it's at, because you could just tilt your finger just right where you need to tilt it.
Yeah, I've always thought that the trackpad on the Steam Deck was cool.
I've never played with it. It seems like a neat idea, though.
Out of all the devices and handhelds that I get, I always find myself going back to it.
Did you guys have any standout weapons, like something that was like your go-to throughout the most of the game?
Go ahead, Mikolov. You kind of didn't get as far as the rest of us. I think you had only seen like 3 or 4 of the weapons at most.
Yes, and quickly before you get into that, I wanted to say that it cracked me up when you told me that you were like, I think I've seen what I need to see and use the guns I need to and everything to rate the game. And in my head, I'm like, I don't even think Mikolov got to the point where it gives you a pop-up and says, you now have all the tools to play Doom Eternal.
No, I didn't. I got the plasma gun, and oh god, do I love the plasma gun. Man, that thing is...
Did you get a mod for it yet?
I think I got one, but I don't know how to use it, so I just don't.
Did you get Heat Blast or Microwave?
I don't remember.
With Heat Blast, all you do is right-click after you've been firing it for a while, and it shoots off a big burst of how much it's overheated, basically.
That's the one I got, and I ended up never using it.
And then the other one, I think you just lock onto the enemy and kind of cook them.
Gotcha. I should have probably gotten the other one then. Oh, well.
I liked the Heat Blast better, personally.
Did you?
Yeah, just because it ends up being a nice way to, if you fire at one dude for a while and then a crowd comes up on you, shoot the Heat Blast, you'll scatter all the weaklings.
Oh, when I unlocked Blood Punch, holy crap, was that fun. Because
Blood Punch is great.
Because a lot of the times I would forget about it and just end up meleeing just like as a survival tactic, or just as a, like, you know, I need to back away, so let me punch this guy and then back away a little bit. And I would punch him and it would like take out like everybody, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, it makes you feel strong, and there are even a couple enemies that are specifically designed to have Blood Punch do something special against
Nice.
them.
I tell you, there was a moment I was fighting one of the big guys who's both his arm, not the big fat guys, but the big like archdemon looking things, like a very small version of the Icon of Sin, whatever you would call it.
Is it the one who's like got the big old blades for hands? Yes. Is it the one that kind of moves, like it runs straight at you and swings its blade and jumps like a Hell Knight, but it isn't a Hell Knight?
Yes.
I think that's the Dread Knight. Okay. And I think that's a new monster for this game.
Well, that motherfucker come running at me, and I'm low on health, and I was like, oh no. And I hit C to...
terrifying.
I hit C to chainsaw, and it tells me, this enemy can't be chainsawed. And I'm like, God damn it!
That's the worst. Or when you have to like back off and like try to find a lesser enemy because you just don't have enough fuel to chainsaw a bigger enemy, and it's all you have left.
Usually the best thing you can do is to chainsaw the smallest guy you can find, because everyone drops the same amount of ammo, so you don't want to have to charge up 3 uses of it just to hit one guy.
And did you also notice with your glory kills, when they would change color, you got different things. Like I think when they were blue, they would drop ammo if you hit them like that, and if they were flashing that yellowish orange and you hit them, that would give you health.
No, it's that's just your distance. That's basically just telling you if you're close enough to kill them or not. If it's blue, that means you're not necessarily, and if they're orange, then you're going to hit them.
Oh, well, it always worked anytime I hit the button, regardless of the color. I would just hit it, and my dude would just lurch forward and grab them and like rip their eyeball out and stick it up their butthole or something.
He really loved ripping eyes and hearts in this game, I've noticed. And sticking them back in different places creatively.
I loved when he ripped out the Cacodemon, and I loved when he ripped out the single eye. Like, that to me is just damn.
I don't remember in the early levels, did you get to a point where you got to use Berserk?
No.
Okay, so when you get the Berserk power up, you start running up to the normal little zombie looking enemy dudes, and you go to attack them, and he just grabs them and tears them in half.
Okay.
Hands in one, or arms in one hand, legs in the other hand.
Yeah, rips them in half.
And the fact that this is entirely first person, like you're seeing that all in front of your eyes. Like, I can't imagine what this game would be like in VR.
Well,
just disorienting as hell.
I can tell you, I have Doom VFR. I had it on PS4 and I have it on Steam. My issue with Doom VFR is where you shoot is where you're looking. That's how the aim works, right?
Oh, shit.
So I am constantly peppering enemies up and down because I'm bobbing my head to the music that's playing very loudly in my ears. I'm going...
That's kind of
It's funny. Fun. It can be intense. It can be intense. I think you would be more suited for the Serious Sam VR game that I played, because they stick you in one spot and the enemies come at you like old school, like the like Time Crisis and stuff.
Rail shooters?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was fun.
Man, you asked me about weapons, I ended up talking about monsters instead. But I want to say, so as far as the weapon roster goes from this game, most of it returns from Doom 2016. The Gauss rifle is out, but has been replaced by something called the Ballista, which is it's the Gauss rifle. It's kind of a railgunish type weapon. The one thing I thought was really neat, though, because I played the new Doom 2 episode, Legacy of Rust, before I played this. And in Legacy of Rust, they've replaced the plasma weapons, so the plasma gun and the BFG 9000 with 2 new weapons. the BFG replacement is called the Calamity Blade. And I've realized that the Calamity Blade is just a fully upgraded ballista from Doom Eternal. Like, it has the same exact thing where it, like, charges up a big widespread and then fires it at everything.
Okay. I see. I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that coming from that.
I don't think you played Legacy of Rust. They only added that.
I'm sorry.
This year.
I'm trying to get questions for that. I thought you were saying that was from Doom 2016. Okay, so that's cool.
No. I was saying that they replaced the Gauss rifle from Doom 2016 with this weapon that would later be added back to Doom 2, basically.
Okay, I got you. Well, that's badass.
It's the BFG replacement in Legacy of Rust. And then let's see, what other weapons were there interesting? BFG is back and it acts basically the same. You can't the only way you can gain ammo for it is from the map itself. You can't get it off of enemies with chainsawing.
That makes sense.
The super shotgun now has, instead of just being a super shotgun, it has what they call the meat hook attached to it, which basically lets you like grab enemies and like rocket yourself towards them. So if you want to glory kill or flame belch or what's the other one? Chainsaw them, then you pull yourself to them to do so, which is kind of neat. Also, the flame belch is the new mechanic for this game. And you know how in Doom 2016 you had the ability to either replenish your health by glory killing monsters or replenish your ammo by chainsawing them? In this game, there's not that much ammo drops at all, so you're constantly doing that. And then you can also replace your armor with what's called a flame belch, where you shoot a short burst of fire, and any enemy that's touched by it is lit on fire, and every time you hit them until they are put out, they drop ammo chunks, or armor chunks, sorry. And if you kill them, especially with a glory kill, while they're still on fire, they drop like 20-something% armor. Otherwise, they drop like a couple of percent.
Damn, I should have paid attention to that tutorial because I only ever used that on accident.
Yeah, it's really helpful if you want to have armor, which is a good thing to have.
Yeah, I liked exploring in this game and trying to find all the little nooks and crannies where the hidden armors and one-ups and stuff were at.
Yeah, because like the collectibles, at least you can get a thing for the Praetor suit that makes them appear on the map. But even other than that, like just finding little like Easter egg type armor pickups and stuff. There's a lot of little fun poking around. While at the same time, I didn't have as much of a trouble getting lost in this game as I did in 2016. Like, I thought that the maps were a lot more streamlined, probably more linear and more based on getting you from arena to arena for combat, which some people criticize the game for, saying they wish it had more incidental combat. But I kind of liked that the fights were choreographed and intelligently designed.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, I liked that when I walked into an area, the music would change. I knew something was about to happen. Or if I walked into an area and there was nothing, something was coming. You know, it was nice to know. Now, I am happy with the clicks sometimes to just continue to play. So I missed the tutorial pop-up where it was talking about the bone totem things. Or stasis
oh, wow.
totems,
Yeah, that was great.
Now,
I can't remember what they're called now, but I know the one you're talking about, the red glowing totems that you have to melee or else monsters will keep coming in super strong.
Yeah. So I spent probably a good 20 to 30 minutes extra on one level because I just kept killing monsters as they kept coming. And I'm like, oh my God, why won't they stop? Because my dumbass...
Did you not notice that they were red and looked different from the usual?
No, I did not. My dumbass thought that totem thing was a buff for me.
Oh.
So when I destroyed it and then suddenly killed all the demons and they disappeared, I went, oh, I just wasted the last 30 minutes of my life. All right. God damn it.
It's not wasted if you had fun.
I'm ripping and tearing, but it's not done.
This game is ripping and tearing me apart.
It's not called Doom for a while. It's Doom Eternal. Get out there and rip and tear.
That's true. I was like, surely I have reached the end of these fucking things. Why do they keep coming? It was driving me nuts, man. I really like, we were talking about levels earlier. I really liked the super gore nest as well.
Yes. That's the one I was trying to think of. That's the one that was like the corrupted city.
Yeah, that was just...
Yeah, Super Gore Nest was maybe my favorite level in terms of design.
That episode, that whole episode was grotesque, and I loved it. But my favorite weapon... Did I already talk about the favorite weapon? It was the heavy machine gun. I love that thing. With its rocket launcher attachment. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. You had the mini... Yeah, I used the sniper rifle attachment for that, and I loved it for that reason also. Like, I used it more than the chain gun, even though the chain gun in this game is super improved because it doesn't have a spin up. It's just really manageable. It's a really good chain gun. It might be my favorite... No, not might be. I think it is my favorite chain gun in the entire Doom series.
Wow.
Yeah, because you anytime you pick up a chain gun, Sirius, Sam, any of those, there's always that whirr, and then it starts shooting.
Yeah.
This one, you just start pulling it, and it's like, it just starts throwing bullets immediately. And it's like, yeah, buddy. So let's just skip up that wind up. Technology is further than that in this world.
Yeah, if we can have soul-powered televisions, we can have a chain gun that shoots when you pull the trigger.
Yes, exactly. I also like the little references they made throughout the game, like hearing the like every now and then, like the not apparition, but the 3D. Oh my god, dude, Tupac was
Projections?
one. Holograms. Yeah, thank you. The hologram thing would pop up, and it would be the chick from UAC, and she's like, ask not what this company can do for you, but what you can do for the company. And this, but like little references to like being on Mars, Doomslayer being on Mars and stuff, which is Doom 3. I loved what they actually referenced that game. It made me happy.
I also feel like in Doom's 2016, those kind of had like a Black Mesa type, science company that's really obvious evil type thing going on. Whereas or not Black Mesa, Aperture Science, but in Eternal, it was more along the lines of they are just gloating about being evil now, just straight up. Like one of the messages was like, have you ever been curious if there is an afterlife? Join the UAC and find out today.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Or do not try to resist the demons. Just succumb to their wants or whatever, and you'll be just fine. Hopefully, or something, it was great. It was great. It was like little bits of humor, because it was always like, beware, the Doomslayer is not as powerful as people say that he is. It's just propaganda. And then he's just like, oh, I'm actually here. My favorite part of the game, though, is that scene where you get ported in to, well, actually, I have two favorite scenes, and the second one, Willie, I know you probably want to talk about too, but so when you get ported in and you're in UAC, and all the scientists are working and stuff, and they all turn and they're like, oh my god, it's the Doomslayer. Oh my god, Doom Guy's here. And you're walking through and everyone's backing away from you, and Doom Guy's just walking through this fucking line. People are getting out of the way, just staring at him like they can't believe he's real. And he walks up to that one dude who's wearing the red key card around his neck, and he just leans down and grabs it and yanks it off. And the dude's just like,
no, he doesn't yank it off. He grabs him by the keychain, by the key
he drags him
and pulls him to the freaking key.
That's right. He drags his ass over there and holds it, and then walks through. And then
guy's still in his swivel chair the whole damn time.
So you're going up that elevator, and those two guards up there are like, yeah, if he shows up, he's not that tough. I'm gonna kick his ass. Oh shit. And then you just walk up to him, take his fucking gun, and keep walking. It's like, yes. Oh, that whole scene was great, dude. The other one, Willie, we had a conversation about this in DMs. Yes. There is a moment.
We were talking about Portal type humor in the game, and this was the most Portal-ass joke in the game.
Yeah. So Michelob, we talk about, you have the BFG. It's the big fucking gun.
BFG 9000.
So they have what is like the BFG 50K or whatever it was called, that was up in the sky.
It was called the BFG 10,000.
Oh, okay, the BFG 10,000. And it's this massive fucking gun. I mean...
By massive, we mean it is... You know how Mars has a moon called Phobos? That is the base of the gun.
Oh, shit.
The entire moon has basically been turned into this big ass gun.
How does Doom Guy carry that around?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
So
he doesn't.
You get inside of it, and there's a little BFG inside of it that like powers this big BFG, and it's like, surely you're not going to blow a hole into Mars. You can't blow a hole into Mars. That's just not. And then it comes up, and it's like, your next goal: blow a hole into Mars.
That's funny.
Then you fire his big ass gun and blast a giant fucking hole into Mars. Just boom. And then he rips the little BFG out, and now you have a BFG.
And then you have the BFG.
And then you go to Mars.
And when you blow up Mars or blast a hole into Mars, you get the achievement Interplanetary Fracking.
Yep.
And B, when you pick up the BFG, a UAC message goes off saying, everyone evacuate. The Slayer has the BFG. Yeah. I repeat, the Slayer has the BFG.
Yeah.
Like full panic
Are these
mode.
all UAG employees or military?
So the UAC is kind of complicated. It was a paramilitary. Yeah. It was kind of like if you think of like what are the company, like not Boeing, but like Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin type things. Companies that like sell gear to the military, but like have so much power that they are also kind of in control of the army to some extent. It's kind of like a massive
like Stark Industries type of thing.
Something like that. Yeah, they're weapons dealers essentially that have an exorbitant amount of control over the to the point where they're kind of a government in their own right.
Gotcha.
Man.
And basically that's kind of how they always have been. Even in the very first Doom, the UAC was always like kind of like a shitty corporation that basically uses the US, and I guess it's supposed to be the US Marine Corps at the time, as basically their personal bodyguards.
Gotcha.
Yeah, to me, there's a trifecta. There's Aperture Science, Black Mesa, and the UAC are like the three.
They're the three
really
like,
shit companies that are gonna
they're
fuck you up if you work for them.
They're the three like evil corporations.
They're for doing very important science very badly, and they'll probably punch a hole into another dimension.
Yeah, and then you also have the Federal Bureau of Control, but that's a whole other ball of worms.
Well, they might be helpful.
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
Yeah, they're questionable.
It's hard to question / understand / all said as one word.
Yeah. Oh man. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about with Doom Eternal? Is there anything else that jumped out to you that we haven't touched on yet?
I definitely want to say I really feel like one thing that this game really leaned into, and it's the opposite to me of Doom 3 in a lot of ways, is like I feel like when Doom 3 came out, it was not really especially cool to be making video games. You know what I mean? Like the game seemed to be a little bit embarrassed to be a sequel to a 1994 first person.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to like retcon a bunch of stuff, make it like serious survival horror and all of that, make it more film based. Doom Eternal could not give a shit. He absolutely loves looking like a video game. Like, when you destroy something with your chainsaw so armor streaks blast out and stuff, it's not like realistic little clips or whatever going to the floor. It's big, glowing, color-coded things so you know exactly what you're picking up, weapon and everything, you know? Like,
Doom.
The walls and stuff you climb up are very clearly marked. There is basically one wall texture that means climbable texture. Like the game is like it prioritizes readability over realism, and I feel like that it pays dividends.
In my mind, Doom 3 is almost like first person Resident Evil with demons, right? It's like it's a survival horror game. Doom 2016.
That's where they wanted to go with it.
Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and now this new Doom game coming out. These are power fantasies because now Doom Guy is like this legendary thing. They've really embraced that. You know what I'm saying? So I totally get what you mean. And the early Doom games, I think, even had their own charm, but they weren't quite as ridiculous as Eternal was as far as just leaning into it.
They're ridiculous in retrospect when you think about how much Doom Guy's running around at like 90 miles per hour holding 900 pounds of equipment and stuff like that. But they don't lean into it the same way Doom Eternal does, whereas Doom Eternal is proud of being like a comic book horror movie in excess.
Yeah, I could totally get that. I guess this well, actually, the question I was going to ask just there is one of the questions we got asked. So I'll save that for the questions section. All right, then, boys. Final thoughts and ratings. Mikolov, let's start with you, bud.
Yeah, because I'm probably played the least of this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we don't want to peer pressure you with like full game review when you've only played like the first 1/8.
You played the shareware version of Doom Eternal.
Basically.
I would say that the shareware version goes up to the fight against the Doom Hunter, actually.
So either...
All right, well, then fuck you, Mikolov.
I would say that
You didn't
the
even
Doom
beat the shareware version.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you made it to E1M4, basically.
So, that said, though, I didn't expect to enjoy this game, and I ended up enjoying this game. And I think it's something that I could continue. And I think it's something that I will eventually beat, but...
Well, keep me posted as you play through it, because like I'd be really excited to see the experiences from someone who isn't familiar with the series and like stuff. Like if things that happen mean anything to you.
And that also begs the question, like, before I go any further in this game, like, am I now invested and interested enough to like want to play 2016 first? And
nah, you don't need to.
That's fair.
I feel like this game's mechanics are so different and unique to it. Like that Dark Ages is going to be in a completely different directions too. That I think Eternal is going to stand on its own as a completely wild and different installment of the series.
So the only thing I'm worried about is the platform, because just right in the second level, like I didn't care for it, and I'm worried that it's just going to be more of the same. And
it doesn't get harder, and you get more comfortable. With it.
Okay, so we'll see. So I'm probably going to give it the lowest rating out of everybody in this room right now, but it's not going to be a low rating. It's still going to be 7 frag grenades out of 10 sticky bombs. And that rating could go up the more I play, but I was actually shockingly impressed by how much I ended up enjoying a game that is very out of my comfort zone.
I feel like it does so much to give you that feedback and make everything you do feel really good.
Or really bad.
I just checked. Oh, go ahead, Willie.
Oh, go ahead.
I just checked Mikolov, and if it would make the game any easier for you, to be able to experience it. Wiimod has an Xbox version of its trainer.
I don't want to Wiimod my way through it.
I respect that.
I want to actually play through. I'm already playing it in the lowest difficulty. I feel like Wiimodding my way through it is just cheating myself out of the experience. So, no, if I continue on with this game, it's going to be intact.
I think that the game has a feature called Sentinel Armor, where if you lose the same boss fight over and over, it does offer you the chance to start it over with, like, basically you only take, like, quarter damage.
Okay, so it is approachable.
I didn't feel the need to use Wiimodd.
It wants you to play.
Yeah.
Between the chainsaw and other ways to get ammo, I always felt like I didn't need to cheat, which was nice.
You know, I don't think I feel the need to cheat my way through this game. I think I'll get through it, you know, on my own right.
Word up. So did you give us a number?
Yes.
You said 7.
Okay. Just making sure. I was trying to like do 3 different things at once there. I was making sure I did. I was right. I missed it. So Willie, do you want to go last? Do you want me to go next? Or
you can go next if you want. I mean, I'm not going to surprise anyone.
So I really enjoyed this. I think I enjoyed this game more than I did 2016 as far as gameplay wise. I might have liked the music a little more in the other game, but that's neither here nor there. That didn't affect my enjoyment of this. There were times where I felt like it was slogging along. I feel like those were user errors because, again, like one of those moments was that totem, and that's on me. So I don't dock the game for that. This game plays smooth. It is optimized to hell and back. The fact that I had full ray tracing on and everything with no DLSS and it ran as smooth as it did. Now, granted, I know I have a decent machine, but even still, like, impressive. And it just was fucking fun, man. I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm giving it 9 cacodemons out of 10 cacodemons that had horns and shot lightning out of its eye.
They are called pain elementals. And my favorite glory kill in the game, Mikolov, earlier you were talking about how you enjoyed plucking the eyes out of the cacodemon. With the pain elemental, which is like the bigger, badder cacodemon that spawns flying skull enemies, Doomguy does one better. And you know that little bladey thing he has on the end of his arm?
Yeah.
He reaches his hand up into the mouth of this guy and pops the eye out from the inside using the blade.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's maybe my favorite glory kill in the game. That one was... I was like, oh, that's just so nasty. That's because even the pain elemental looks surprised and horrified by what's going on. And that's a creature whose description says literally its entire life is agony and it wants to die.
Nice.
So, this is... I'm almost a little mad at myself for not playing this before the podcast, because by now I would have played it through on Hurt Me Plenty, which I did, would have played it through again on Ultraviolence, would have played through the DLC, and might have considered going back and doing it on Nightmare, because I felt like on Hurt Me Plenty, the game was awful forgiving for the most part. Like, only a couple of the Slayergate optional challenges were hard enough that I died in non-boss combat. I also died in a couple of the boss fights because I think I approached them in a really stupid way. Just tried to be stubborn with them. But I didn't die against the Doom Hunter or the Doom Hunter, the Marauder, or the Gladiator. So, like, the normal enemy bosses went okay. It was just the final 2 bosses that I died on because I was stupid. Did not engage with anything other than the actual thing shooting at me for the first couple tries. Until I realized, oh yeah, I got to pay attention to the whole battlefield here. It's not going to be a surprise that I give a Doom game a high rating, and nothing I say is going to sound like anything other than hyperbole anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and be ridiculous with it and give it a BFG 10,000 out of BFG 9,000. This, if they had told me that this game is now the game called Hell on Earth and Doom 2 was retroactively renamed just Doom 2, I would have said, yeah, that's fine. This game is a better Hell on Earth than any other game I've ever played. And not only that, but you get to go to 4 different planets in this game, and all of them are quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's not just Doom. You also get to hang out on, obviously, you have a trip back to Hell. You get to see the homeworld of the Night Sentinels, which is the group that Doomguy was hanging out with in Doom 2016. And there's a 4th one, too. It's all really interesting and cool. Oh, and there's Mars, so 5.
And I don't even know if we've really touched on it a lot, but you get the Doom Fortress. Or the Doom.
Oh yes, we briefly mentioned it. The Fortress of Doom, which is an orbital satellite that Doomguy lives on. That's kind of like a hub between levels. You can go around and changed the music in there, and they have a lot of cool music. Like freaking, it's not just songs from the Doom series. There's also like the Quake 3 main theme, the Doom 3 main theme, songs from Wolfenstein, Commander Keen. Like, there's a lot of loving tributes to the older stuff, and even just like if you go into Doom Guy's bedroom, and I think that's what that area is supposed to be, is his bedroom. He has like this bookshelf that's full of books that are just all references. One of the shelves is just literature titles with more doomy names, like stuff like 50 Shades of Slay.
Did you notice the like the portraits that were empty? I wonder if those are like collectibles that you can find that put in like posters or paintings where those are at.
Anything you saw empty on the wall that looked like it would have been a poster, that's the posters are music. You can change the music playing in the Fortress of Doom.
Okay.
So, like, that's why I was always spinning the Doom 3 theme, because I was like, damn, I'm glad they included that, because I feel like the Doom 3 soundtrack is very huge strong point of Doom 3, and probably the part of the Doom soundtrack series that gets the least love. Because people talk about the classic Doom soundtrack, Bobby Prince's stuff. People talk about Aubrey Hodge's like ambient music for the PlayStation and for Doom 64. People talk about Mick Gordon's Argent metal style for the newer ones. Doom 3 was kind of a lost middle ground that had a cool metal sound of its own that I thought, really worked out really well.
Yeah.
It was more straightforward than the other soundtracks for sure, but I think they made the right choice.
It worked for it. Yeah.
Yeah. The combination of like electronic and metal beats worked really nicely, I felt. Although obviously Argent metal is now the sound of Doom. Like Mick Gordon is a genius.
Yeah, it's like when I'm playing my night, like the riff that I'm actually writing right now, that I'm working on, reminds me of something that I would hear, maybe not in a Doom game, but something Doom adjacent.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Blood. They made Blood 3 or something.
Man, that would be awesome. I mean, talk to fucking Night Dive. They made Blood Fresh Supply. So, oh wait, Blood's rights are in some kind of weird Atari hell, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe you are correct, sir. So
because I think that's why there aren't a lot of new patches for Blood Fresh Supply. Is like Atari couldn't keep paying them to keep working on the game because the licensing was weird.
Yeah, I've heard they're good. I've never played them, but I own them.
I've heard that Blood is incredible. It's the best build engine game. So that's like comparing that to Duke Nukem 3D, Shadow Warrior, and to a lesser extent Redneck Rampage, and to a much lesser extent Extreme Paint Brawl.
Oh man. Okay, so boys, we got a few questions, and then we'll announce what next game we're getting into, and then we'll head up on out of here. First, it comes in from Kana. You can only pick one. Choose wisely. A cat girlfriend, she loves you, or a cat grill friend, and they cook for you.
Oh, come on. That's the easy one. Monster Hunter, the cats cook for you. You know I'm going with that.
Yeah, as much as I think a cat grill would be fun, I think having a cat that grills would be sweet.
I mean, to be fair, though,
you guys remember when
being able to spoon and cuddle and hear the purring, like that's gotta be kind of nice.
Sweet. That's a sweet thought. It is a sweet thought. But like, you guys remember when we did a similar question, but it was if you could have any pet from a video game, and you and Nathan both picked like animals, and I'm like, I'll get Isabel because she'll do all my work for me. Yeah, give me the cat chef.
Yeah, fair enough.
And especially now, Miklov points out the Palico chefs from Monster Hunter World who have some of the most fun animations.
Oh, dude, and
even when I was convinced I would hate Monster Hunter, I loved those animations.
And man, if we're going to talk about Monster Hunter, like, ever since they made the jump to console from the PSP, like, that food is just utterly delicious looking.
Oh,
yeah.
Mouthwatering shit.
It's like Dragon's Dogma 2. They didn't know how to render good food cooking, so they just did really good, like, 8K footage of them cooking actual food, and then just put that in the game. So when you cook, like you're cooking a steak, you get a cutscene of someone cooking a really nice fucking steak. It's awesome.
What I heard, apparently, according to the dev team of that, they did the math and realized it would cost as much money to make models for all that stuff, or to just buy the actual meat and cook it and film it, and then they would get to eat it. Yeah. So they made the right choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that shit looks pristine. So good.
Dragon's Dogma team is ahead of all of us, frankly.
So the next question comes in from Adam. It's a picture question. It is a group of, I guess, bad guys and killers from movies. And it says, pick 3 to protect you, and the rest will try to kill you.
Oh, yeah, it's a bunch of horror icons, killers. It's not an exact theme, but it's pretty much mostly horror stuff. Like, not all of them are even traditionally killers. There's the guys like Jigsaw, like Black Phillip and stuff. But if you tried to name a bunch of main characters from horror movies, most of the guys you'd think of are on this picture.
Yeah. Think I'm gonna go Freddy, because he can get them while they're sleeping. I'm going to go Dracula because he can use his charm and talk them into whatever they want, and then he can just bite their neck and kill them.
Dracula, where's he?
Front, bottom right. I think that's Bela Lugosi above the goat.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, I thought you were talking about Count Orlok on here, and I'm like, oh, he does not count. Nosferatu ain't going to get shit done with mind control, but maybe
not Nosferatu.
No,
I see him up there, but no, not him. Okay. Then the third one's tough, man, because I'm torn between like the Babadook or Pinhead. I think I'm gonna go Pinhead.
What does the Babadook do? I haven't watched it.
I'm not really sure. I just know he kills people.
Oh, that's great. I mean, some of these are non-starter choices. There's Alex from Clockwork Orange here. He's just a crazy guy who hurts people. Like that's not helping you against Michael Myers.
I was gonna say right below Michael Myers is a member of Slipknot.
Is that Leatherface or is Leatherface elsewhere? No, Leatherface is towards the back. I don't know who
I'm not
is.
sure who that is.
He does look like he belongs to Slipknot. Man, I'm just gonna get Michael, Freddy, and Jason because we're gonna have a good time until they start fighting, and then it's gonna be really funny.
Fair.
You're outnumbered this way. You're gonna die no matter what.
Yeah, pretty much.
At least go out entertaining style. Actually, now that I say that, maybe I'll replace one of the mute guys with Chucky, just because then him and Freddy will sass each other.
God, yeah, that would be fun.
Why didn't they make Freddy versus Chucky instead of Freddy versus Jason, honestly?
Freddy versus Chucky, and then the leprechaun shows up at the end and winks at the camera.
Nice. Yes.
Teases a sequel to now the banter between those three. That would be good.
Yeah, because, Leprechaun and Freddy Krueger are both guys I think of as completely the main actor, Warwick Davis and Robert Englund, respectively. Just absolutely make those characters to me.
100%. What about you, Mikolov? Who are you going to pick?
I'm not a horror guy. I can't really. I was looking at the picture and I'm like, I might have to skip this one.
All right, then I'm giving Mikolov the clown from Terrorizer. I'm giving him...
And 2 Donnie Darkos.
I was going to say the clown from Terrorizer. I'm going to give him It, and then I'm going to give him Annabelle. I
was thinking Pennywise might be helpful just because if you know a lot about the Stephen King expanded universe, that guy is not just a clown. That is like a multi-dimensional projection of some kind of figure that's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's like an eldritch horror almost. All right, and Adam's 3 were Hannibal, Jason, and Pennywise. So Adam's got 2 more questions for us. What was your favorite demon to rip and tear? We actually got a game-related question, guys.
That is new.
I mean, for me, it was the Cacodemons. Like, we talked about that a couple times.
Well, the Cacodemons are less dangerous in this game than they have been in their last couple of incarnations. I actually kind of enjoy them as little burpy gas bags that get owned extremely easily. Like, that was really fun. I like that pick. And so I'm going to go with the opposite. I thought that what they did with the Pinky Demon is the most engaging combat with the Pinky has ever been in the series. Now, it's not just avoiding them or trying to gun them down before they get to you. There's this whole dance where you got to try to get behind them and get to their tail. And I think it's a lot more interesting than the just straight bull charge and no locational damage version.
Yeah. Help me out with the name, Willie. It was the demon where your glory kill was you would jump them and you would grab them and you would rip their horn off and then stab it through their eye.
You did that on a couple of dudes. Like, do you remember which, like, how it walked or something?
It was one of the bigger ones.
It might be the Dread Knight again. Was it the one you were talking about earlier that chased you down, was big, trying to help, like, the bleeding arms? Yeah.
So okay, it might be the Dread Knight then. So that one, Adam, it was awesome. Just ripping their horn out and stabbing it in their face was just rad.
Also, I really enjoyed fighting the Tyrant in this game, which is the version of the Cyber Demon, because it's less one-hit killish than it's been in previous games. So fights with a Tyrant and a bunch of stuff in it still feels like you try to topple the Tyrant first, but it doesn't feel like it's the only thing in the fight. Like, you still have to manage your priorities, and I thought that was really
for sure. And our final question: if Doom had to cross over, or no, I'm sorry, we have 2 more questions. If Doom had to cross over with another first-person shooter hero, who should it be?
I'm gonna cop out and just say Master Chief.
Yeah, I feel like there are 2 really obvious answers.
Yeah, I feel like the 2 obvious answers are Master Chief and Duke Nukem.
Yeah, Duke Nukem is definitely the dream team matchup from the day, the big rivals working together. And then Master Chief is like the guy in the style of that kind of gets the direct comparison.
I can just.
And so,
go ahead.
So I'll just go with my third one, which is I'll go with a different power-suited badass from space and go with Samus Aran from Metroid Prime.
Oh, that would be cool.
And that's kind of funny because I did kind of get Metroid Prime-ish vibes by playing this game. I don't think Metroid Prime is nearly as doomy and darky, but it did kind of feel like
Yeah.
It was very closely related to Metroid Prime to me, and I don't know why I felt that way, but it's how I felt.
I think Metroid Prime has a lot of, like, I mean, Metroid itself has a lot of the same DNA as Doom, where a lot of the influences for, like, the architecture and stuff comes from, like, sci-fi, especially H.R. Giger and the Alien movies and stuff like that. So, like, I think they both have common elements in their design, and then Prime brought the series closer in gameplay to the Doom series, which kind of gives them both, like, a similar focus. So I think that it does make a lot of sense, actually.
Having said that, my kid is awake and giving my wife a hard time, so I know you're probably getting ready to do house cleaning soon, so do you mind if I dip out, send you the audio, and go take care of that?
Au revoir.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, take care, guys. I'll send this to you right away, Dalton.
Yeah, no rush, brother.
All right,
rush.
appreciate it.
Bye.
Have a good cat girlfriend.
Thanks.
So I think my answer's got to be... I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody other than Duke, but...
Yeah, because Dookie Nukee's just, it's the pick you would think to go
I can just picture, like, the trailer, and it's like, you see, like, you know, a hellscape, and you see Boots walking, and
Dun, 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 dun,
you just hear,
dun,
like,
dun, dun,
first the
dun,
aliens
dun, dun,
came, and they
dun.
interrupted my Oprah. Then the aliens came, and they stole my girls. Now these demons come, and they killed my girls. And then it shows Duke, and he cocks his shotgun. This is bullshit. And then throws his kick. Boom! And it's like, Doom featuring Duke Nukem.
Doom Nukem 5 ever.
There you go. Doom Nukem 5 ever. I think that would be pretty rad. I know Bulletstorm you can play through as Duke Nukem.
Yeah, but from what I understand, like, Duke has his own lines, but everyone still reacts to you like you're the regular Bulletstorm guy saying Bulletstorm shit, which kind of sounds hilarious in its own right.
That does sound kind of funny, but that seems like a second playthrough type thing.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit,
Yeah, exactly.
Bulletstorm's quirky, but that game's fun as fuck when you finally figure out, like, oh, okay, I can use combos and stuff to get score points and get higher. It's a lot of fun.
Man, speaking of games with, like, first-person mechanics, but also scoring and combos and stuff, really want to try Ultra Kill sometime. That game seems like it's, like, if you liked Doom Eternal and you like doing a lot of crazy shit in first-person shooter or boomer shooter combat, that's going to be the game that, like, gives you the most similar vibe.
I'd be down. I'm always up for whatever, man.
I don't know if it's still under construction or not. This is early access. They don't call it under construction. What am I, a GeoCities webpage from 1996? A little Stickman animated GIF and a little flame that says, "Never again the burning times," and it turns into a pentagram when it turns around.
Our final question comes in from Adam. Why are Doom Guy and Isabella such a cute couple?
It's because it's the contrast. The fact that one of them is kind of a mild-mannered character who is very, very oriented on her tasks, but is really chill in nature, a worrywart, but kind of a calmer personality. Whereas Doom Guy is also very quiet, but it's because he's full of rage, hate, and destruction, and yet he's also very task-oriented and can accomplish anything you put before him. It means that they have this single-mindedness of pairing, where if you put them both to one task, they'll approach it from different directions, but they'll damn sure rip and tear and account and mayor until it's done.
And I also think it helps that I believe Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing both came out around the same time, and then COVID happened. So
it was, Animal Crossing, New Horizons, and Doom Eternal launched on the same day.
Yeah, so everybody is.
So it kind of became a meme, and then COVID made Animal Crossing to be the thing. Yeah.
Oh, tremendous. Well,
I have a feeling the people that were going to play Doom Eternal were going to play it whether or not they could go outside, whereas Animal Crossing kind of was a substitute for life for people for a while. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. I mean, it gave people something they needed at the time they needed.
Yeah, that game came out at the perfect time.
Like, imagine if that had been when Stardew Valley hit. That would be the biggest video game franchise on the planet right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, dude. So that just leaves what we're playing next. That is my pick, my good sir. I'm not going to promise it, but there's probably a good chance that on our next episode we will have a fourth member joining us, being that of one Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper, because the game that I'm picking, sir, we're so close. We're so close to getting to the turn-based games. We're so close. So we are going to play Yakuza 5.
Pack your bags for Kamurocho. Wait, does this one take place in Kamurocho?
I think so.
I can't take that for granted anymore because we had one in Okinawa, and now it's like, I don't know.
No, yeah, I believe it's in Kamurocho, or at least it's going to show up at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, it always shows up. There's always a little Kamurocho. Let's go.
But yeah, we're going to play some Yakuza 5, but that is a month-long game because it's probably going to take us a bit. So we are going to do a short game in between.
Well, what do we have on our plate for the short game? Are we going with a poll? Are we going with the retro? What do we got?
I personally want to go with the poll. I think next time maybe we hit the retro one because we haven't done that one yet. So I think, but for this one, the one that won the short poll last is a game that is near and dear to my heart. I love it to death. And I've been waiting patiently to play it for the show. And that is The Unfinished Swan.
Art. We are going to play
We're going to play an art. One of Annapurna's first art games that they put out there into the world.
Wow, that will make Annapurna our most played publisher of 2025 so far.
Yeah, because Outer Worlds was Annapurna too, right? Outer Wilds.
No, but Outer Wilds was. Now you're doing it. Yes.
Damn it. Yeah, Outer Wilds. Yeah, and there's a few other games that Annapurna's done that I've really got some interest in. There's some that aren't my bag.
They made... I mean, obviously, I think of them as the Gone Home people because that was how they were introduced to me. They did do Gone Home, right? Because I'm going to sound like a fucking lunatic if I'm wrong about that.
No.
But yeah, so I tend to think of them as narrative first, and that's cool because I definitely am, a big fan of the idea of games as an art form that can tell a story you can't tell in any other medium.
Yeah, it's a fucking great game, dude. So Unfinished Swan, and then we'll be back.
But even by the standards of the company that brought us like The Outer Wilds and Gone Home, this one is art.
Yeah. I can't wait, dude. I can't wait for y'all to see it. It's just so I played it one night over at my buddy Joey's house and we were just getting stoned and we sat there and I played through the whole thing. Now Joey is a very Southern boy. Like he's not into artsy fartsy type stuff. And when that game was over, he was like, God damn, that was a good game, dude. That was a good story. And he's because he just sat there and watched me play it. And we just sat there for like 2.5, 3 hours, however long it is, and played through it. And it was so good, dude. I can't wait.
Oh, so it's a one sitting type game?
Yeah, you can definitely play it in one sitting. Even, if you want to break it into 2 or 3, that's even fine too. But yeah, it's you can definitely just sit down and play it if you wanted.
Yeah, well, I mean, our definition of short game for the show is a little bit flexible. I mean, so knowing that it's a game that you can play sensibly in one sitting is
yeah, it's a legit short game. Think of it like a long movie.
Well, feel free to play along with us, everyone at home. It'll be fast. It'll be over faster than The Godfather, which I've never seen because it's a very long movie, and every time I almost watch it, I have ADHD.
Dude, I took my girlfriend back in the day. We went to the theaters to see Return of the King. And it was like, by the end of it, we were like, oh my God, how long is this movie? It was good, but it was like, holy shit, this movie's long to see in a theater.
The craziest thing, too, is that the movie ends like before the book does. Like, I don't know when the last time you read Return of the King is, but like that book ends about 2/3 of the way through the book. And then it's post-epilogue.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. There's so much.
The main thing that was going to happen has happened by now.
But yeah, so.
And I'm not even saying that as a knock on Tolkien. It's just he writes like a historian and a linguist first, not a novelist. And you just happened to basically create a literary genre by, being that in tune with the creation of his world building.
Yeah, you can say what you want about the movies and like how they do things and stuff, but like you can't ever
ask Nate. He'll say a lot of shit about Peter Jackson. He loves hating Peter Jackson.
But the world that Tolkien built, man, you can't deny. It's just so where most of the fantasy that we read now is based out of. It's just wild. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, even if the terminology and stuff comes from earlier places, the fact is that he changed what we think of as an elf forever.
Yes.
Because by the time D&D made elf a thing, it is like so codified. We now think of them as Vulcans instead of gnomes, basically.
Yeah, you're right. The pointy ears and tall and yeah. Earlier on Facebook, I saw this. I don't know why this made me think of it. I guess Tolkien being, old, but not as old as you would think. I was watching this little scene popped up. Stand-up comedian. He's like, "Did you know that Pablo Picasso died in like 1976?" He goes, "Pablo Picasso, yeah, that artist. You think all these artists are from back then? No, that motherfucker was drinking Mountain Dew, watching a color television." He's like, and just painting some shit. He was riding around in a car listening to Black Sabbath."
Exactly, dude. It blew my mind when I found out that like Aleister Crowley was around for World War II. You tend to think of him as like a wizard from 200 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just mind boggling. Yeah, when I first learned about Pablo Picasso, I'm like, oh, okay, he was probably a 1700s painter. Like had a weirdly no, dude, 1900s. Died not that long before my lifetime. Like, oh well, shit. It's just a wild thought.
I believe someone put together there's a Tumblr post, a very famous Tumblr post about how you don't expect timelines that you don't associate with each other to cross over each other. And they did the math and found out that based on real things that were all happening, based on the timelines of people dying, living, things being invented or whatever, things being abolished, there was approximately a 7-year period in world history where a samurai could have sent a fax to Abraham Lincoln.
Wow.
Isn't that what, like, your brain does not put any of those things next to each other?
No, not at all. I think samurai, way back in the day.
No, man, samurai were still kicking through the 19th century. So, about the same time as the American Civil War is when the samurai caste was abolished.
God, that's wild, dude. I love history.
Like, in fact, that's what the plot of the movie The Last Samurai was. Like, it was a Civil War veteran that went over there to fight in Japan.
I've never seen that movie, but the joke from Chappelle's Show.
I know it's really hilarious me bringing that up as a historical accurate thing, but I'm just saying that like the setting is plausible.
I'm not going to repeat the joke, but
I know
listeners,
the joke.
go look up the joke from the Chappelle Show about The Last Samurai.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, but I'm not going to tell it.
Right.
But yeah, I love history, dude, and I almost want to start looking into maybe some games that have some historical context that's real. Like I know I have one called I'm gonna say, bitch, this is an excuse for you to put Dynasty Warriors on the show. Don't act like it ain't. Oh, don't tempt me. I love Dynasty Warriors now, but no, I was thinking I have a
Dynasty Warriors absolutely got me into reading about the Three Kingdoms period. What a fascinating time.
Amazing, dude.
Like I've never made it through the entire Romance of the Three Kingdoms books in one sitting, like reading it all together. Like I've read like a couple chapters, put it down, forgot everything that happened, and tried to pick up from what I remember from the video games, which doesn't help. There's too many characters, even that way.
Yeah, so when I got really into Dynasty Warriors 9 back on PS4, I found a podcast where this dude was just explaining the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and it was a long podcast series, and God damn it, that wasn't some of the most fascinating shit I had ever heard, and so engrossing. Like, holy shit. And this was written how long ago? What? It was so good. And I like how
I mean, I don't know when it was written, but it takes place in like the 200s AD. So yeah. I think it was only written a little while after that, because I think the person that wrote it was a direct descendant of Lube, which is why the Shu Kingdom is treated so favorably.
Why they're the good guys.
Yeah.
Not exactly. My boy Cow Cow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but dude, it's so good. I can't recommend the Romance of the Three Kingdoms stuff enough to anybody. But like, I have a game on Steam called Survival Fountain of Youth, and it's like you're on
like Fountain of Youth, like you're like fucking Pizarro or some shit.
Yeah, like you were on one of those ships and it crashed, and now you're on an island.
Cortez, Pizarro. Who was the one that looked for? I think it was Pizarro, wasn't it?
I can go to the Steam page and tell you.
Help me out.
Challenging single-player open-world adventure game set in the Caribbean islands. Survive as a shipwrecked 16th century explorer. Craft tools, shelter, and uncover the secrets of both an ancient civilization and your own fate.
Because it's a fictionalized thing. Then that makes sense. Still, I mean, it's still a fascinating time in history, especially if you're just an explorer, not like explicitly a conquistador.
Oh, bro, I bought this the day after me and Diana got back from our St. Augustine trip.
Oh, yeah, because you would definitely be thinking about like classic Spanish presence in the Americas. Yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, after learning all about that, and I came on here and it came out. So, yeah, it came out May 21st, 2024. So it was like a relatively new game. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. We snagged that. I'll take that golf hit.
Oh, I need to update golf because I beat Doom Eternal like an hour or two before we recorded, actually.
Oh, yeah, you got that too. But yeah, so.
Put me back at, plus or minus me back at par.
Let me run through the ending here, and then we can get on out of here, my good sir. I will go ahead and say it for him. Mikolov, go check him out over on YouTube at Team Retrogue. He's putting out a bunch of good stuff lately about handhelds. He's the man.
Been talking about that Odin whatever and the MSI Claw 9.
I think he's.
When I said Odin whatever, I almost said Odin Sphere, and I'm like, I think that was a
Odin Sphere was a PS2 game, but you saying that made me think of Odin Sphere, and then I was gonna say his next video was on the Okama Game Sphere.
No. Wow.
But yeah, man. So if you would do us a favor, please go leave us a review wherever you listen, specifically on iTunes and Spotify. It helps us out a lot, and the algorithm helps new people find the show. We just had somebody join the Discord who found us through the American Truck Simulator episode. Interestingly enough,
that is a wild one, and I'm glad you enjoyed our American Truck Simulator enough to join us, because man, that was one of those games where it's like we played, we had a good time, but I did not feel confident like speaking as an expert on that game whatsoever.
Yeah, I had a blast with it, but man, even
with this game, which we beat, I still feel like I've explored 20% of how much I'm going to explore.
And he also found this on Amazon Music, which was cool to hear. So shout out to Sire Gears 1995. Welcome to the shenanigans. I really
didn't realize Amazon Music was a way people found us. I've only heard people talk about Amazon Podcasts and Spotify, or Apple Podcasts and Spotify before.
Yeah. So that was cool to hear. I was like, oh,
cool.
that's awesome. So just another place for people to hear us, I guess. So shout out to him, man. Welcome in. Also, if you want to join the Discord, which I'm talking about right now, it is bit.ly/TSMP take two. bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. That'll get you a invite into the Discord. You can come join in on the shenanigans. You can vote on the polls, all that good stuff to pick games that you want to hear about us play. Check out the website, kept up to date by Dane, bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast. Quick shout out to Dane and Jeff over there, not Grumpy Jeff's Pro Wrestling Power Hour. That's mine and Dane's wrestling show. Also shout out to that. But
Dane and Jeff's Media Dump.
Dane and Jeff's Media Dump. I'm going to be a guest on that show coming up soon, and I'm very much looking forward to that, even though I could not remember the name of the show, because that's why they call it dope.
Because your name isn't in it. And now if it was Dalton's and Dane's and Jeff's Media Dump,
then maybe I would remember.
Then it would be a mouthful.
It would be a very big mouthful.
You always are, Dalton.
And if you want to contribute back to that big old mouthful that I have, you go to patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. If you donate $1 or more a month, you get the episodes early and you get banter at the beginning that is just for you Patreon listeners. And if you donate
today we talked about guns and home runs.
Yes, we did. Oh my God. Yeah, great. Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about, was guns and home runs.
That's so American of a summary. I involuntarily started saluting over here.
Yeah, right. Feels like we should be talking about, what was that, Helldivers 2? for democracy.
Yeah, democracy.
Man, but if you donate $10 or more, you get all of that, plus your name read on each and every episode, like these wonderful, wonderful people. Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper, Jeff, the original Expendable, Mr. Syllables, old Jeffy Lube, also he's a duck, Ariesoradam, shout out to his podcast, Revival and Extinction, Team Retrogue, go check him out over on YouTube, Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, check him and Jeff out over on Dane and Jeff's Media Dump, Chad the Mad Lad, no goddamn seeing his last name, Shaffer, Flyin Brian, Doran Gray, the RPG, Wolverine, Logan, Joreid, and Biltzy the Dragon. Thank you all very, very much. It means a lot. The support does more than you know. Very much appreciated. Other than that, dude, check out JRPG Report. Check out Grumpy Jeff's Pro Wrestling Power Hour. Get a shirt, tsmpproductions.threadless.com. Music, nowthenightmare.bandcamp.com. Willie, you got anything that you would like to plug? You got anything you want to throw out there? You just want to tell people to drink some water? What you got for me, good sir?
I had something. Give me 1 second. I actually did have something this time.
Take all the time you need.
I think last time I was like, Taco Bell, bring back the cravings box, right?
That is absolutely what you said.
They haven't yet. So they're on my shit list, because I used to be able to get the veggie craving box for $6.99 and then just add chicken to the quesadilla, and it was $3 cheaper than the quesadilla meal.
Hell yeah.
Maybe that's why they took it away. They figured out the hack. Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, if you want to come by the Discord, like, I know we're already plugging the Discord, but if anyone wants to talk about Doom Eternal, man, I don't have a separate channel for it or anything. But if you just come to the TSMP chat or the general chat and talk about Doom Eternal, I would love to keep it in my brain, because I'm probably gonna replay it soon, or else play through the Ancient Gods on Medium, depending on if I feel like buying that. I don't know if it's still on sale. I know there was a sale when we started the episode, but I don't know if there is now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, Doom Talk is always welcome, and that is an easy way to get Willie to come out and talk.
And in fact, I have a channel in there for something I was doing where I was going to play through a bunch of Doom mods and stuff that I kind of forgot about, so I should get back to that now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Willie's wad shooting.
Yep, that was a good name. I like that. But I mean, it makes sense. It works perfectly. Like 10 out of 10. Yeah, I just kind of got part of the way through episode 1 and then got distracted and started doing something. You know how I am.
I do it too, man.
I got that ADHD.
Listen,
I got that.
I keep telling myself
Adderall.
I'm going to play Final Fantasy 14 tonight. But you know, I don't think I'm going to do a match in 2K24. 3 hours later. Oh man.
This is why it's a good thing I picked Doom Eternal this time, because even if I was overwhelmed by it, I was just going to say, you know what? I'm still just going to play a bunch of Doom and talk about Doom. Yeah. So worst case scenario is I don't finish it. So instead of being scared with 3 days left, I was like, hey, guess who gets to play a bunch of fucking Doom right now?
Yes, sir. All right, well.
I would have been so sad if this game sucked.
I'd have been sad for you, man. I'd have been sad for you if it was like a...
Do you have any idea how annoying this episode would have been if I didn't like it? Because at least with Doom 3, I had sober expectations going in. I would have been pissed if Doom Eternal wasn't awesome.
That's fair, especially since it's like the build up to the next game, which looks rad. So,
yeah, shout out to Doom: The Dark Ages coming, I think, May 15th, 2025. Also, shout out to Monster Hunter Wilds coming out in, I think, March 2025. So I've got a lot of sequels coming up that I am going to shit my pants about.
Yeah. And speaking of the Patreon, when we were talking about it earlier, you want to help me get WWE 2K25. Yeah, just toss a couple bucks in there, make your boy happy, because I am ready to play that motherfucker. They have added so much.
So I fucked up plugs so badly that we're just doing house cleaning part 2. So
no, we're not really. That's all I had to say.
How do we end this episode? How do we end the show? Kiss your dad square on the lips. Nope, that's my brother and me. Damn it, do we have a sign off? Oh yeah, we do. It is
Take it easy. By the way, just real quick, I renamed a channel because of you while we've been recording.
What did I do?
So you said Backlov's Golf.
Oh, fuck.
So that is now the name of the channel, is Backlov's Golf.
God damn it, Dalton.